I wasn't supposed to be alone that night. My roommate, Jenna, had left town unexpectedly for a family emergency. My girlfriend was working a late shift. I remember standing in the kitchen after they both left, staring at the quiet apartment and telling myself it was fine. I liked being alone. I needed the quiet. By midnight, the rain had started. Not a storm, just a steady, tapping drizzle against the windows that made the place feel smaller than it was. I locked the door, checked it twice out of habit, and settled onto the couch with my laptop. Around 12:40, I heard the knock. It wasn't loud, just 3 firm taps. I froze, fingers hovering over the keyboard. No one ever came by that late. The building was old, mostly families and retirees. No parties, no friends stopping in unannounced. I muted my laptop and listened. Nothing. I told myself it was probably someone at the wrong door. That happens sometimes. Still, I didn't move. I waited. Then the knock came again. 3 taps. Slower this time. I got up and walked quietly to the door, peering through the peephole. The hallway light was on, buzzing softly, but I couldn't see anyone standing there, just the stained carpet and the far wall. "Hello?" I called, keeping my voice steady. A man answered immediately, like he'd been waiting for me to speak. "I'm sorry to bother you," he said. His voice was calm, polite. "I just need to ask you something." Something about the way he spoke made my skin crawl. He wasn't nervous, he wasn't confused, he sounded confident. "I can't help you," I said. "It's late." "I know," he replied. "You're alone. I won't take long." My heart slammed into my ribs. "I'm not alone," I said quickly. There was a pause, then a quiet chuckle. "You are," he said. "Your roommate left at 6:12. Your girlfriend's car hasn't been here since yesterday." My mouth went dry. I stepped back from the door, without realizing it. "Who are you?" Another pause, longer this time. "I was hoping you'd open the door," he said softly. "It's easier to explain in person." I grabbed my phone and dialed Jenna, even though I knew she wouldn't answer. It went straight to voicemail. I didn't hang up. I just held the phone to my ear so he could hear the ringing. "I'm calling the police," I said. "You can," he replied, "but they won't get here in time." The hallway light flickered once. My chest tightened. "What do you want?" "I want you to remember," he said. "You won't at first. You never do." I backed into the living room, eyes locked on the door. I could hear my own breathing, loud and uneven. "What are you talking about?" I whispered. "You answered the door last time," he said. "You always do." The handle jiggled. Not hard, just enough to let me know he was touching it. I screamed and ran to the kitchen. Grabbing the largest knife I could find, my hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped it. I stood there listening, waiting for the sound of the door being forced open. It never came. Instead, I heard footsteps. They moved away from my door, slow, unhurried, like he knew he had all the time in the world. I didn't sleep. I sat on the kitchen floor until the sun came up, the knife resting across my knees. The next morning, I called the police. They took my statement, checked the hallway cameras, and found nothing. No man, no footage. No signs anyone had been there at all. One of the officers gave me a look that said he didn't believe me. I stayed with my girlfriend for a few days after that. I didn't tell her everything, just that someone had scared me, that I needed company. Eventually, life went back to normal, or close enough. Weeks passed, then months. I almost convinced myself it had been stress, paranoia, my imagination filling in gaps. Until I found the notebook. It was shoved behind a loose panel, under my bathroom sink. I'd lived there for 2 years and never noticed it before. The cover was black, worn soft with age. Inside were pages and pages of handwriting. Mine. Dates stretched back years, before I'd even moved into that apartment. Every entry described the same thing, being alone. A knock at the door. A man who knew too much. The last entry was dated 3 months ago. It ended mid-sentence. My phone rang. Unknown number. I didn't answer. A voicemail appeared seconds later. I listened to it. "I told you," the man said calmly. "You don't remember, but you always let me in." The recording ended with the sound of a door closing. Behind me, I felt breath against my ear. "Turn around," he whispered. The first night it happened, I didn't think anything of it. I was sitting on my couch, around midnight, half watching a show I wasn't really paying attention to. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet that only settles in when everyone else on the street is asleep. I remember feeling relaxed, safe, even. Then the kitchen light turned off. Not flickered, not dimmed, off. I frowned and muted the TV. The switch was on the wall near the hallway, a good 20 feet away from where I was sitting. I figured maybe there'd been a brief power hiccup, even though the TV and lamp beside me were still on. I got up, walked into the kitchen, and flipped the switch. The light came back on instantly. I checked the breaker box in the laundry room, just in case. Everything looked normal. I shrugged it off and went back to the couch. 5 minutes later, the hallway light went out. That one made me pause. I hadn't turned it on myself. I usually leave it on at night so the house doesn't feel so dark. I stood there staring down the hall, watching the darkness stretch toward the bedrooms. Great, I muttered. Electrical issues. I grabbed my phone and used the flashlight to walk down the hall, flipping the switch back on. The light worked fine. Still, something about it bothered me. It didn't feel random, it felt deliberate. I went back to the living room and locked the front door. That was habit. I'd always been cautious living alone. 10 minutes passed. The bathroom light shut off. I wasn't even in the bathroom. I stood up slowly, heart starting to beat harder than it had any right to. I told myself I was being paranoid. Old wiring, loose connections. There were logical explanations. But the pit in my stomach said otherwise. I turned the bathroom light back on and stood there for a second listening. The house was silent. No footsteps, no creaking floorboards, nothing. I checked every room before going to bed. All the lights worked. All the doors were locked. Windows closed. I slept with my bedroom light on. Around 2:40, I woke up to darkness. Total darkness. My bedroom light was off. So was everything else. The glow from the streetlight outside barely reached through the curtains, just enough to outline my room. I lay there frozen, staring at the ceiling, listening to my own breathing. Then I heard it. A soft click. It came from the direction of the living room. Another click followed. Then another. Each one sounded exactly like a light switch being flipped. Click, click, click. Slow, steady, moving. Toward me. I held my breath and reached for my phone, my hands shaking so badly I almost dropped it. The screen lit up my face, and for a split second I regretted it, like I'd just announced where I was. The clicking stopped. I stayed perfectly still, phone clutched to my chest, listening for anything. Footsteps, breathing, anything at all. Nothing. After what felt like forever, I got up and locked my bedroom door. I'd never done that before. I sat on the bed until the sun came up. The next day I called an electrician. He checked the wiring, the switches, the breaker panel. He found nothing wrong. No loose connections. No faulty circuits. Old house, he said with a shrug. Stuff like this happens. That night, I tried to act normal. I turned on every light in the house just to prove a point to myself. I left them on when I went to bed. At 1:17, my phone buzzed with a low battery warning. At 1:18, the living room light turned off. I didn't move. At 1:19, the kitchen light went dark. At 1:20, the hallway. Each one, 1 minute apart. I stared at my bedroom door, watching the thin strip of light underneath disappear when the hallway went dark. Then the bathroom light. Then the spare bedroom. The house was being shut down, room by room. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. I squeezed my eyes shut, praying the lock would hold. Click. The bedroom light turned off. I screamed. I don't even remember doing it, it just tore out of me. I scrambled for the lamp on my nightstand, fumbling for the switch, but it didn't turn on. None of the lights would. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the floor with my back against the bed, staring at the door until morning. The next day, I stayed with a friend. I didn't tell them everything, just that my house was messing with my head and I needed a break. I installed security cameras the following afternoon. One in the living room, one in the hallway, one pointed at my bedroom door. That night, I stayed. At 12:58, the living room camera detected motion. My phone buzzed. I opened the app, heart racing. The footage showed the living room empty. Then, slowly, the light switch on the wall flipped down, by itself. No hand, no shadow, just the switch moving, smooth and controlled. The kitchen camera activated next. Click. The hallway light followed. Click. The cameras caught everything. The switches flipping one by one, each exactly 1 minute apart. When it reached the hallway camera, I saw something else. At the far end of the hall, just beyond the spare bedroom door, there was a shape. Tall, still, darker than the darkness around it. It didn't move. It didn't need to. The light switched off. The screen went black. My bedroom camera activated last. I watched the footage live. The feed cut out as my room went dark. I ran. I didn't grab anything. I didn't lock the door behind me. I ran barefoot into the street, screaming for help until a neighbor came out and called the police. They searched the house, found nothing. No signs of entry, no one hiding. The cameras showed what I'd seen, but no one could explain it. They suggested stress, sleep paralysis, hallucinations. I moved out the next week. The house was rented again within a month. I tried to forget about it last night. My phone buzzed at 1:17 in the morning. It was a notification from a number I didn't recognize. Attached was a video, security footage, my new apartment's hallway. I watched as the living room light turned off, then the kitchen, 1 minute apart, room by room. The caption under the video read, "Still like to sleep with the lights on?" I live alone in a small rental house on a quiet street, the kind of place where nothing ever really happens. The neighbors keep to themselves, packages sit on porches for hours without being touched. The loudest sound at night is usually a distant train horn. That's why what happened still doesn't make sense to me, no matter how many times I replay it. It started with a delivery. I was waiting on a small package I'd ordered online. Nothing special, just a replacement charger and a couple of cables. I work from home, so when the delivery notification popped up on my phone, I grabbed my keys. I opened the front door almost immediately. The package was there, brown box, my name printed clearly on the label. I picked it up, glanced up and down the street out of habit. I went back inside. I locked the door behind me. I remember that specifically because I always double-check the lock without thinking. I set the package on the kitchen counter and went back to my desk. About 2 hours later, I got another notification. "Your package has been delivered." I frowned and unlocked my phone, assuming it was a delayed alert or a glitch. But the photo attached stopped me cold. It was my porch. The same box sat right where it had been earlier, angled slightly toward the door, sunlight hitting the corner just like before. My stomach tightened. I stood up slowly and walked into the kitchen. The counter was empty. The box was gone. I checked the trash, the table, even the fridge for some stupid reason. Like maybe I'd moved it without realizing. Nothing. My heart started pounding hard enough that I could hear it in my ears. I grabbed a knife from the drawer. Not because I had a plan, but because it made me feel less exposed. I walked to the front door. I opened it. The package was back on the porch. Same box, same label, same faint tear in the cardboard corner I remembered noticing earlier. I didn't touch it right away. I stood there staring at it, trying to make sense of how it could have left my house. Returned without me hearing a thing. The porch boards creak when anyone steps on them. The door hinges groan. There's no way I wouldn't have noticed. I finally picked it up again, hands shaking this time, and brought it inside. I locked the door. Checked it again. I opened the box immediately. Everything inside was exactly as it should be. The charger, the cables, nothing extra, nothing missing. That night I barely slept. Every sound felt louder. The hum of the refrigerator, the house settling, wind brushing against the siding. I lay there convincing myself it had been some kind of mix-up, that maybe the delivery driver accidentally scanned it twice or I'd imagined the first notification. But deep down, I knew that wasn't true. The next morning, I called the delivery company. The representative sounded bored until I explained what happened. "That's not possible," she said flatly. "Our system shows only one delivery scan." I told her about the photo. There was a pause. "That photo was uploaded automatically when the package was dropped off." "Twice?" I asked. Another pause, longer this time. "No, once." I hung up feeling worse than before. I installed a camera that afternoon, just a cheap one pointed at the front door and living room. I told myself it was overkill, but I needed proof, something solid. That night, around 1:30, the camera sent me a motion alert. I sat straight up in bed and opened the live feed. The living room was empty. The front door was closed. The alert history showed movement lasting exactly 12 seconds. I rewound the footage. At first, nothing seemed off. The room looked the same. Then I noticed it. The front door handle moved, slowly, Carefully, the door didn't open. It didn't need to. Something on the other side turned the handle, testing it, like it already knew it was locked. Then, from inside the house, the deadbolt turned. My breath caught in my throat. The door opened inward. I was watching my own front door unlock from the inside while I lay frozen in my bedroom. The camera angle didn't show who did it, just the door opening, inch by inch, and then closing again. The deadbolt slid back into place. The handle stopped moving. The clip ended. I didn't sleep at all after that. In the morning, I called the police. They came, looked around, checked the locks, and asked the same questions over and over. No signs of forced entry, no missing items, no fingerprints that didn't belong to me. One of the officers finally asked, gently, if I'd been under a lot of stress lately. I felt embarrassed, angry, helpless. They left after suggesting I stay with a friend for a few nights. I did. When I came back 3 days later, everything seemed normal. The camera showed nothing unusual. The house felt empty again. I tried to move on. A week passed, then another package arrived. I hadn't ordered anything. I found it sitting in the middle of my living room when I got home from the grocery store. No delivery notification, no knock, no sound, just a small brown box placed carefully on the rug, like it had been set down with intention. My name was on the label, my address, no return sender. I didn't open it. I called the police again. They took the box this time, promising to look into it. 2 days later, an officer called me back. "Can you confirm something for me?" he asked. "What?" I said. "The box you reported, are you sure it was sealed when you found it?" "Yes," I said. "Why?" Another pause. "Because there were no fingerprints on the outside." My chest tightened. "So?" "There were fingerprints on the inside." I couldn't speak. "They match yours," he said carefully. "All over the inner flaps, like you packed it yourself." I moved out after that. I didn't pack much, just clothes, essentials. I left most of my belongings behind. I didn't want to spend another night there. A month later, the landlord called me. He said a box had been left on the porch of my new apartment. Same size, same brown cardboard. My name written in familiar handwriting. Mine. Inside was the charger I'd ordered weeks earlier, and a note folded neatly beneath it. It said, "Thanks for letting me borrow it. I'll bring the rest back soon."